Hey guys, it's me, and today I'm going to be talking about the advanced shooting skill game. So obviously I'll have the gameplay in the background and I'll just talk a little bit about my strategy and how I eventually beat it and what not. So what I found at first is that you always want to get as many points as you can from the first one. So if you can beat the goalkeeper on the first chance after restarting, you should definitely do that. Or if you can chip him first time, you get around 2,600 points, which is always good. And I usually tend to restart if I don't manage to get that, mainly because it's only a few seconds lost, and it always gives you a nice head start for the rest of the match if you can manage to pick up those 2,500 to 3,000 points you can get as a start. Some of the areas you'll see me actually just kicking the ball straight away, or even just kicking it out of play, because I found it's actually more time efficient to do that. Say for example when you're coming from the end line and there's a defender to your side and there's also a defender coming in from the edge of the penalty area, I actually tend to just kick the ball out of play there, because if I do manage to beat one of the defenders I only get 500 points, and then I usually shoot and don't score, or shoot and score. Even if I score I only get 1,200, and that obviously doesn't happen all of the time, and if I don't score then the ball just bounces out. I get about 100 points, which is not very many, and it takes about 10 seconds to clear, which is a huge waste of time, when really you want to be earning about 2,000 every 10 seconds, and you only get about 1,200 tops if you do manage to do well. If you can beat the goalkeeper, I would obviously suggest to go for him, but I found that I couldn't beat him consistently, and it was usually just letting me down and just taking away a lot of time. So you'll notice from these clips that I actually use the scoop term an awful lot. I found that it's actually really effective when you're going to beat the goalkeeper, because sometimes if you use a knock-on then it doesn't actually register that you've beaten the goalkeeper, or for some reason it doesn't really count the points. That does occasionally happen as well with the scoop turn, as you'll see later on in the video. I do beat the goalkeeper a couple of times and don't get any extra points, which is really frustrating, but some of those times I suppose it may have been my fault because I didn't actually run past the goalkeeper. I just faked him with a skill move and then finished. But yeah, the scoop turn is probably the most effective skill move for this skill game, and if you can get the hang of using the scoop turn to beat the goalkeeper, and then also if you're able to use the chip shot and the long shot, then you should be all good, because there are actually quite a lot of occasions when you can use the chip shot, such as when the goalkeeper is rushing out to you. Obviously you want to practice your aiming, because for the long shots and for the volleys, obviously you'll have to aim in the correct area for the ball to go in. And I have actually found that when the ball gets knocked out to you when you're about 35 yards away, it is quite possible definitely to score from there. It's not always a certainty, but I usually like to, because what usually happens is either the goalkeeper saves it and it goes straight out of play, or I score, and both of those are pretty decent time-wise. And if I try to run up and beat the defender and then beat the goalkeeper, it can take up to 15 to 20 seconds, which is not ideal, especially if you don't manage to beat the goalkeeper, so I would definitely say. But to be honest, the most important thing is probably just not to get frustrated and keep trying, even when EA seems to screw you over, like it did seem to happen to me quite a few times while I was playing. That I should have got a lot more points than I did, but I didn't. But I just kept trying and eventually I got it. So unfortunately I couldn't get the gameplay for the special video I was trying to bring out today, so I'll try and get a bit of FIFA in tonight and bring out that video tomorrow if at all possible again. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave it a like, and apart from that I'll talk to you all next time.